Be.
Yeah, we are live. Dr. Kim, good morning. Yep, it's still morning. Good morning to you.
It is. Good morning, Colby. It is. We're a little later today, but that's okay. We've been kind of talking off air a little while about
Yeah,
some things that we can't talk on air about.
that's right. Some
Kind of.
fun conversations. Maybe someday we'll publish all of those things we're
I
talking
think
about
we
off
should
air.
do some outtakes and put them on. Yep.
Yeah, we do. And speaking of what we're talking about or talking about things, we're talking today about anger and so much anger. And some of this we've talked about in the past, but we're bringing it up again because there's a resurgence again. You're seeing things happening in the world once again, and there's lots of we're seeing a lot of people that are just angry
Just angry.
in
Yeah.
one way or the other, one side or the other, and they're dealing with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it seems like anger is almost contagious, in a way that sometimes I think the better emotions aren't as contagious. It's so easy to see somebody angry and hear them talk, and then you get angry, and then that spreads to somebody else. And I think we're seeing that a lot in our culture, and I think we're losing sight of what the opposite of that can do, and how powerful kindness is, how powerful, and that people listen to us better when we're not angry. But it's easy to get caught up in anger, and we're seeing it, and I think it tears at the fabric of our homes, our families, our culture, and everything. I mean, the Bible, it's interesting how God says, be angry and do not sin. So he's saying it's okay to be angry. I gave you that emotion, but what are
Yeah,
you going to do with it? Are you going to go
yeah,
hurt somebody with that emotion, or are you going to do something to try to make change in a way that affects change in a positive way?
yep, absolutely. And it's something that is such a powerful emotion. Wouldn't you agree? Like there's just so much of, there's different emotions and they have different levels of just the way they make us feel. And anger can and exercise so many levels when it comes to how it makes us feel. And looking around at what anger has done, and I think sometimes we feel like that anger is a convincing argument and that it's something
Yeah.
that is okay. It's like, you know what? This is right. I feel right about this. I feel like this is absolutely incorrect and I'm angry and it's okay. It's okay for me to feel angry and to do something about it in anger and not just necessarily process it. But I'm going to react because of this anger.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times we go to anger because we feel more in control when we're
Yeah.
angry. If the root of it really is, I'm so sad because this happened, but it turns to anger, then you lash out. Where if you stick with your sadness, one, you can work through it and you can kind of get help and talk to other people about it. But once you get angry, it changes the whole dynamics of the thing. Yes, you may feel more in control, but the chance of you doing something that's harmful in the big picture, I think, is greater.
Yep. And honestly, I think anger, what it does is it shuts down that rational thinking inside of your mind. When you
Yeah.
are so convinced that this way that you're feeling from an angry standpoint is, and it's dangerous anger, not just like righteous anger, not like Jesus form of like this is injustice kind of anger, but it's like this. It turns into this really irrational anger. We start thinking that we can think that way, and that it's okay to have this irrational anger happening, and we're justified in the way that we think.
Yeah, and there's a study, and I can't remember. I wish I could remember it, but it takes anger and it talks about the effects long term if you stay angry, and it goes to anyway. It's step, and it leads to death. I mean, it is destructive. It begins to affect your body.
Yeah.
It affects you emotionally. It affects your mind. All those kind of things. And so, anger that's not controlled and not dealt with in a healthy way eventually can kill you.
Yeah. Well, and the Bible says, be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. And so there's something to be said, and that's found in Ephesians 4:26, that you can look at it and say, hey, I know that I'm angry and that it's okay to feel the way that I do, but it shouldn't cause me to sin. It shouldn't cause me to do anything that's going to jeopardize my testimony. And so many times I see Christians who are angry about things and they're doing and saying things that are jeopardizing the way that they want people to look at them. They're jeopardizing, and I maybe jeopardizing is a strong way of saying it, but they're causing people to look at them in a different way that's not of Jesus, not the way that they want people to view them, because they're allowing anger to be something that is controlling and it's that irrational. It's causing them to do and say things they shouldn't say.
Yeah, I always have had so much respect for Dr. Martin Luther King and the
Yeah,
way obviously he was angered by so much that was going on that was wrong in our culture at that time. But the way he handled himself, I think people listened to him. He made
yeah,
an impact. I mean, when we hear, you just hear his name a lot because of the way he did things. And I think that's why people respect him so much. And I just, for all of us, I think there's a lesson there. Yeah, there's things we need to get angry about. There's things that we want to take action on. We want to help change, but it's how we do it. How do we do it without sinning?
Yeah. Well, and so much of that is we aren't doing a good job as a culture, I think. And personally, this is my opinion, but we're not listening very well. We
No,
are quick to become angry. And the Bible says do not become quick to be angry, but be quick to listen and slow to speak and slow to become angry. There's reasons that there's justification in understanding, hey, I want to help this. I want to remedy this situation. But the first thing I have to do is I have to be willing to listen before I allow my emotions and my anger to, and because when you start getting angry or frustrated, and I feel I'm no stranger to it. I get frustrated with this stuff just like anybody
yep,
else. But the more that I'm frustrated, the less likely I am to listen to what's happening and to respond accordingly. And what Christ, and the Bible says this in Colossians 3:15, and let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts,
mm,
which that's powerful because that's the peace that you need, and which indeed you are called in one body, and be thankful. So if I allow the peace of Christ to rule in my heart, then I'm going to see situations. I'm going to listen. I'm going to see things in a different way, that I need to be listening and seeing things and not responding in the way that the world says I need to respond, but the way that Christ says I need to respond.
sure. And I think when we listen, we learn,
Yep.
even though we may think somebody we disagree with, there may be something there God's trying to teach us, and you don't want to miss that.
All right.
So I think with me, I kind of know my triggers, the things that make me angry. And so in trying to deal with it, I try to be aware of that. I kind of get, if I'm really getting angry, I get this little hot spot back here. And I know I need to remove myself from a situation. Then I think knowing your triggers, your body's going to tell you when you get angry. And then for me, if I handle anger the right way, I'm going to go pray first and ask God to calm me down, help me see this through from his perspective. And then how do you want me to deal with that? I know that's hard to do sometimes. We get angry, and that's for me why I've got to catch it as quick as I can and turn to God. But when I do that, I see my response be much more effective and honor God more. And I wish I could say I did that 100% of the time. I'm probably 50-50, but I'm working toward 100. But I think there's ways to handle it in ways that are helpful and healing, and where somebody's going to respect you, even if they don't agree with you, just because you handled it in a different way.
Agreed. And I like to think of that, what you just said, as knee-jerk reactions. I do it sometimes as a parent. Like I'll react to my children's situation or saying things they did, and I'll knee jerk as opposed to stopping and saying, okay, what am I about to do? And I do the same thing when I'm in my car with people that might be driving too fast or cut me off, and I'll knee jerk sometimes, and that's not Christ-like. And it's anger. So we, in our situation with things that are going on in the world, we knee jerk reacting to the way things are happening, and we're just causing ourselves to react and do things that we shouldn't. Or like you said, are we taking time to pray about it? I see my triggers. I see what's going on. I know this is going to affect me this way. How am I processing it? Am I praying about it? And then am I responding in a way that helps me have a clearer mind before I jump onto it? And I knee jerk something that's going to cause more damage than if I would just have taken time to listen to it and pray about it.
And you'll sleep better at night too, I think.
You will. No, that's a key thing, because sleep is absolutely important. So, yes, and that's good to know. That's good to know about your hot spot in the back of your neck. I'll watch for that in case I ever say something to you.
It glows, so probably stay behind me. And okay, when you see it glow, if I haven't disappeared, no, you're bigger than me. You don't have to go anywhere. You can take care of me.
I'd probably still run. I'd still probably run. And that was how I saw a little bit of that after the Thunder lost here not too long ago. Yesterday, I believe, 2 days ago now.
2 days ago, Wednesday night.
I saw a little bit. Yeah, saw a little bit of that and that frustrations there. Understandably so. It was a close game. Should have won.
Yeah, there's so many things I could say now, but I'm not saying any of them. I'm just staying away from it because I could really get myself in trouble.
I see. No, I just wanted to see what you'd say. So that's good. Hey, it's always fun to talk, and people can find out more about what we're talking about on a monthly basis. In fact, our next on our podcast, A Better Man podcast, and our next one's coming out a week from yesterday. So next Thursday. Yeah,
and it's a good one.
It is a good one. I'm excited for people to check it out. Won't give away too much of it, but it's something that is important as well, as far as we're concerned with what's going on today. So check it out next week. Again, thank you guys for joining us.
You bet.
And appreciate all that you guys do. And don't just be an okay man.
Be a better man. See you guys. Have a great weekend.
See y'all.